The first note sliced through the thin wall like a confession I wasn't ready to hear raw. Unfiltered. A guitar string vibrating with the kind of ache that makes your chest tighten. I froze in my kitchen. Coffee mug halfway to my lips. The steam curling up like the smoke from a life I pretended to control. That sound. It wasn't just music. It was a dare. Pulling at the stitches I'd sewn over my own silenced heart. And in that instant, I knew the man across the hall was about to unravel everything I'd built to survive. New York had always been my fortress. A sprawling beast of steel and ambition where a 25-year-old like me could hide in plain sight. I'd clawed my way into a junior associate position at a midtown law firm. The kind where suits cost more than morals and partners preached loyalty like it was gospel. My family back in Ohio, dad the stern factory foreman. Mom the church choir director who baked apple pies with Bible verses etched in the crust had drilled it into me. Rules were lifelines. Stick to the path. Andrew, Dad would say, his voice gravelly from years of warnings. Deviate, and you lose everything. I'd nodded. Swallowed the truth of who I was at 16 when I first felt that pull toward boys instead of the girls at youth group. And vowed to die keeping it buried. No slips. No scandals. Just a straight arrow life, law school, corner office dreams. Maybe a safe marriage to erase the questions. But that night, as the chords bled into my apartment haunting, defiant, wrapping around lyrics about forbidden touches and stolen breaths, something cracked. I pressed my ear to the wall, heart pounding like I'd been caught red-handed, and whispered to the empty air, "Who the hell are you?" The music stopped abruptly, as if he'd heard me. Silence stretched, thick and electric. Then footsteps, boots on hardwood. Deliberate. A knock rattled my door. Soft but insistent, like fate testing the lock. I yanked it open. Breath caught. And there he was, mid-20s. All sharp edges and effortless chaos. Leaning against the frame with a smirk that could disarm a jury. His skin glowed under the hallway's flickering bulb. A warm olive tone from some mixed heritage that made his green eyes pop like emeralds in a gutter. Tousled black curls fell over his forehead, brushing the collar of a threadbare Ramones tee that hugged his lean. Tattooed arms, ink swirling like stories he wore without shame. Faded jeans slung low on his hips. Scuffed boots planted wide. And that guitar case slung over one shoulder like a weapon. He smelled like rain-soaked pavement and cheap whiskey. The scent hitting me harder than the bass line had. "Evening. Neighbor," he drawled, voice low and smoky, laced with a Brooklyn edge that turned every word into a hook. "Name's Riley. Heard you listening. Walls paper thin. Huh. Figured I'd introduce myself before you call the super about the noise." His gaze locked on mine, unblinking, like he could see the war raging behind my hazel eyes, the one between the boy who'd once dreamed of stadium lights and the man who'd traded it for spreadsheets and solitude. I swallowed, forcing a laugh that sounded brittle even to me. "Andrew. And it's fine. Really. Just wasn't expecting an audience participation track." God, why did my voice crack like that? Why did his presence fill the doorway like smoke, making my meticulously organized life feel like a house of cards? He chuckled, a sound that rumbled through me, tilting his head to study me. "Audience. Huh. Well, if you're offering, I've got a set tomorrow night at the Dive down on Avenue B. Open mic. Free drinks for first-timers. You in?" There it was, the invitation. Casual as a shrug, but loaded with subtext I couldn't ignore. His eyes dipped, just a fraction, tracing the line of my jaw, and heat flooded my face. No one had looked at me like that since college. Since I'd shut it all down after one fumbling kiss in a dorm bathroom that left me terrified and ashamed. "I work early," I stammered, gripping the door like it was the only thing keeping me upright. "Trials don't wait for hangovers." Riley's smirk softened, something almost tender flickering there. Fair enough. But life's too short for alibis. Andrew. Night. He pushed off the frame, sauntering back to his door, guitar case swinging like a pendulum counting down to my surrender. I closed mine, sliding down against it until I hit the floor, pulse thundering. One conversation, and already the rules I'd sworn by felt like chains chafing my skin. What the hell had I just let in? The next morning, sunlight sliced through my blinds like Judgment Day, pulling me from a dream where hands rough sure traced paths I'd forbidden myself to walk. I shook it off, splashing cold water on my face in the bathroom mirror, reciting the mantra, focus, survive, repeat. My reflection stared back clean-shaven, hair combed neat, the picture of poised professionalism. At 25, I'd mastered the art of invisibility, blending into the firm's sea of gray suits, quoting precedents like prayers. But as I knotted my tie, that damn melody looped in my head. Riley's voice haunting the notes, break the silence. Let it bleed / love's the thief you never see. By lunch, I was buried in depositions. The fluorescent hum of the office a dull roar. My boss, Harlan, clapped me on the back too hard, always grinning like we'd just won the Super Bowl. Andrew, my boy, you're a machine. Keep this up, and you'll be billing partner by 30. Family man yet? Got a girl warming that bachelor pad? The question landed like a gut punch. Routine as breathing. Working on it. I lied, forcing the smile that had become my armor. Harlan laughed, oblivious, launching into tales of his own shotgun wedding. I nodded, but inside, the walls closed in. What if they knew? The firm was old money. Old values whispers about lifestyle choices could tank a career faster than a lost case. And home. God. The calls from Mom every Sunday. Probing gently, seeing anyone special. Church socials coming up. I'd deflect. Change the subject to Dad's bad knee. But each evasion carved a little deeper. That evening, as I trudged up the stairs to my 4th floor walk-up in the East Villahea, charming pre-war building that meant creaky floors and shared laundry, I braced for it. The music. It started at 8 sharp. Like clockwork. Spilling through the vents, a bluesy riff that twisted into something anthemic. Riley's voice crooning about outcasts finding fire in the dark. I tried ignoring it, firing up my laptop for case reviews. But my foot tapped traitorously. By the 3rd song, I was at the wall again, forehead pressed to the paint, letting the vibration hum through my bones. A thud his door. Then mine. I opened it before I could think. And there he stood, takeout bag in hand, smelling of soy sauce and street food. Truce offering, he said, thrusting a carton at me. General Tso's. Figured the least I owe for the free concert series. I took it, fingers brushing his electric. Accidental. But neither of us pulled away fast enough. You don't owe me anything. It's nice. Actually, the music. His eyes lit up, genuine surprise softening the rebel edge. Yeah. Most folks here bang on the pipes. What's your poison? Andrew. Jazz. Hip-hop. Or are you a closet Springsteen guy? Classics, I admitted, leaning against the jam, the carton warm in my hands. Sinatra. Mostly. Dad's influence. Keeps things structured. Riley snorted, but not unkindly. Structured. Sounds exhausting. Me. I play what bleeds out. Grew up in foster homes, Queens. Mostly. Music was the one thing they couldn't take. Now it's gigs and dives. Busking on subways. Pays the rent. Barely. He shrugged, but his gaze held mine. Probing. You. Law firm Shark. Right. Saw the suit. Junior associate. I said. The title tasting like ash. Corporate defense. Protecting the innocent well. The well-funded. We talked then. Right there in the hall. Steam rising from the food like unspoken invitations. He leaned on his doorframe. I on mine. The space between us shrinking with every laugh. Riley was 24. A year younger. But worlds freer dropped out of community college for a band that fizzled. Now scraping by on tips and odd jobs. His guitar his only constant. He spoke of stages under neon. Crowds that roared back his pain. Turning it to poetry. I envied it. That rawness. Even as it terrified me. Sounds alive. I murmured. And he grinned. All teeth and trouble. Alive's the goal. Come to the gig tomorrow. Promise not to bite unless you ask nice. His wink was playful. But the undercurrent. It stirred something dormant. A heat low in my gut I hadn't felt since burying it deep. I might. I said. The words slipping out before reason could cage them. He nodded. Vanishing into his apartment with his sweet dreams. Neighbor. That echoed long after his door clicked shut. That night. The music wove through my dreams as fingers on strings mirroring touches I craved but couldn't name. I woke tangled in sheets. Hard and ashamed. The rules screaming in my head, this ends now. But by morning. Resolve frayed. And as I passed his door on the way to the subway. A post-it fluttered there, dive. 9 p.m. No excuses. I peeled it off. Pocketed it like contraband. And stepped into the city that suddenly felt less like a cage. The week blurred into a dangerous rhythm. Mornings in the firm's sterile glow. Afternoons dodging Harlan's eligible bachelorette setups. Evenings with Riley's music as my secret soundtrack. We'd cross paths in the hauling amps. Me with dry cleaning and the talks stretched longer each time. He'd tease me about my buttoned-up vibe. I'd counter with questions about his lyrics. Drawn to the vulnerability he bared like battle scars. One night, he invited me in for research, a half-empty pizza on his coffee table cluttered with notebooks scribbled in frantic script. Walls plastered with faded posters of Bowie and Prince. Icons who'd lived unapologetically. His place was chaos to my order, guitar picks scattered like confetti. A half-tuned violin on the couch. The air thick with incense and the faint tang of weed. We sat on mismatched stools. Him strumming idly. Me sipping beer from a chipped mug. This one's new, he said. Fingers dancing into a melody that built slow. Aching verses about a boy in shadows. Reaching for light across a divide. Our eyes met mid-chorus. And the air thickened. Charged. For someone specific. I asked. Voice rough. His strum faltered. Just a beat. Maybe. Inspiration strikes where it wants. He set the guitar down. Leaning closer. His knee brushing mine. The contact sparked. And I froze. Every rule flashing warning. Pull back. Run. But his hand found my arm. Thumb tracing a vein. Gentle as the music. Andrew. He whispered. Name like a plea. And I broke leaning in. Lips crashing into his with the desperation of a dam bursting. The kiss was fire, salty. Urgent. His stubble grazing mine as tongues tangled in a dance I denied myself for years. He tasted like hops and honesty. Hands cupping my face like I was fragile. Precious. I pulled him closer. Fingers knotting in his curls. The world narrowing to the heat of his body, pressing mine against the wall. Gasps. Moans mine. His filled the room. Drowning the doubts. For those minutes, I was free. Alive in a way that shattered me. But reality clawed back as we broke apart. Breaths ragged. His eyes searched mine. Soft with wonder. That was... Yeah. I rasped. Stepping back. Heart-hammering terror now. The rules roared louder. family, firm, future. I can't to Riley. I shouldn't have. Hey. He caught my wrist. Voice steady. No regrets. Just truth. But I fled anyway. Door slamming behind me. Collapsing in my bed with his taste lingering like sin. Guilt gnawed through the night. Twisting into dawn. How could one kiss eclipse vows I'd etched in blood? Work that day was hell staring at briefs. Harlan's voice droning about integrity like a knife twist. By evening, avoidance became survival. I took the stairs 2 at a time. Key and locked before his door could open. But the music played on. Softer now. A lament that mirrored my ache. Idiot. I cursed myself. Coward. Yet when my phone buzzed a text from an unknown number, missed you tonight. Doors open if you need air. Her fingers hovered. Then typed, soon. Soon stretched to days. Then a week of cat and mouse. I'd catch glimpses, him in the hall. Head down. Avoiding my eyes with a hurt that mirrored my own. The firm ramped up late nights prepping for a merger. Harlan praising my dedication while I drowned in what-ifs. Home was no refuge. Mom's call came Sunday. Voice bright. Andrew. Honey. Pastor Bill's daughter is single again. Such a catch stable. Church-going. I murmured agreements. Stomach churning. The lie heavier than ever. Then. Crisis. A firm dinner. Black tie at some midtown steakhouse. Harlan's wife playing matchmaker with her Nicia blonde paralegal named Claire. All polite laughs and probing questions. So, Andrew, ever think about settling down? Family's everything. Right. I nodded. Wine burning my throat. Excuses piling like debris. Escape came late. Subway rattling me home. Where Riley's door cracked light under the frame. Music hummed faint. Furious strums. Before I could bolt upstairs. It stopped. His door swung wide. You look like hell, he said. No anger. Just concern etching his face. Jeans low. Shirtless. Tattoos blooming across his chest like wildflowers of phoenix rising from ribs. Notes curling down his arm. Wanna talk? Or just be? I stepped in. Words failing. And he didn't push. We sat on his fire escape. City lights sprawling below like a glittering trap. He passed a joint I declined. But the smoke curled between us. Loosening tongues. I spilled it then. Halting, the Ohio upbringing. The buried crushes. The vows to go straight for Dad's pride. Mom's peace. I'm 25. Riley. And I've never let myself. It's safer this way. Rules keep you alive. He listened. Green eyes steady. Then took my hand. Calluses rough from strings. Rules are just fear in disguise. I get it, foster kid. Always running from labels. But hiding. It eats you. His thumb stroked my knuckles. And tears pricked dumbly. Unwanted. But real. You're not alone. Andrew. Not anymore. We kissed again. Slower this time. On that rusted perch with horns blaring below. It was revelation, his body fitting mine like a missing cord. Hands exploring with reverence. No rush. Just discover me, fingers tracing ink. His lips on my neck whispering. Beautiful. We tumbled inside. Clothes shedding like old skin. Bodies joining in a tangle of limbs and sighs. He was gentle. Fierce. Guiding me through the unknown with murmurs of, I've got you. Climax hit like a crescendo. Shattering me into sobs relief. Release. The dam fully broken. After. Curled against him. Sweat cooling. Doubt crept back. What now? I whispered. Now. He said. Kissing my temple. We figure it. Together. But together meant exposure. And exposure meant ruin. The next morning, as I dressed in his bathroom tie, I asked you. Marks blooming on my collarbone. Reality intruded. A voicemail from Harlan. Andrew. Emergency meeting. Clients panicking here by 9. I bolted, promising Riley tonight. But the firm swallowed me whole. Depositions. Arguments. The merger teetering on ethics I'd once championed. Days blurred into a haze of duality. Nights in Riley's arms. Days in armor. He'd text lyrics mid-afternoon. Your smile's the bridge I cross at dawn. And I'd hide grins in boardrooms. But cracks formed, a coworker spotting my glow. Mom's call turning sharp. You sound distant. Son. Everything okay? Harlan's offhand. Keep that focus. Distractions kill careers. Then, the gig. Riley's big break. A spot at the Bowery Ballroom. Opening for an indie act. Come. He begged over takeout. Eyes alight. See me raw? I went. Heart pounding. Slipping into the crowd. Incognito jeans for once. No tie. The venue pulsed. Sweat slick bodies. Bass thumping like my pulse. Riley took the stage. Guitar in hand. Curls wild under spots. And poured out soul songs of defiance. Desire. A new one that gutted me. Across the hall. He woke my fight. Rules be damned. We own the night. The crowd roared. I did too. From shadows. Tears blurring. Backstage after. He crushed me in a hug. High on adrenaline. You came. Our kiss was public brief. But seen. A fan wolf whistled. I froze. But Riley just grinned. Let him look. Freedom tasted sweet. But backlash brewed. Monday. Whispers in the break room. Saw you at that queer dive. Andrew. Rough crowd. Not accusation yet, but the chill settled. Harlan called me in. Heard you were out late. Partying. We need you sharp. His eyes narrowed. Probing. I deflected. But sleep evaded that night. Riley snores beside me, a reminder of stakes. The call came midweek. Mom. Voice trembling. Andrew. Your cousin saw you. With a man. At that club. Is it true? Please. Tell me it's not. Heart stopped. Family network. Small town eyes in the big city. Mom. Lies died on tongue. We need to talk. She wept. Dad's silence heavier in background. We raised you better. Church says. God says. I hung up. Gutted. Driving to Riley's in rain-lashed streets. He held me as I broke. Rocking like a child. They'll come around. He lied. For me. But doubt festered. Was love worth this war? Crisis peaked at the merger close. High-stakes dinner. Harlan toasting traditional values. Claire cornered me again. Hand on arm. Andrew. You're tense. Let me help unwind you. Revulsion hit polite escape. But Harlan saw. Next day. My office, son. Rumors. Lifestyle stuff. Firm's image. Tread careful. Warning clear. Choose sides. I chose. Quit notice drafted. Trembling hand. Riley's gig that night sold out. Electric. Backstage. I confessed. I'm out. All in. He beamed. Pulling me on stage for encore duet. Impromptu. My voice shaky on harmonies. Crowd erupted. Flashes popped. Viral by morning. Fallout. Firm's call fired. Softly. Family cut off. Dad's email. Disowned. Don't come home. Pain lanced. But Riley's hand in mine anchored. We build new. He said. Months healed scars. New job legal aid. Pro bono for queer youth. Riley's album dropped. Tracks of us woven in. Mom's letter came tentative. Forgive us. Love you still. Steps toward bridge. Now. A year on. His music fills our shared space, not across hall. But entwined. Rules broken. But chains gone. Love's the rebel song. And damn. It sings. The rain hammered Brooklyn like it was trying to wash away the sins of the city. But nothing could drown out the echo of that first real fight we'd had. It was 3 months in. Riley and I tangled in the sheets of his apartment. The one we'd merged into after my lease ran out, and my resolve finally did. I'd come home from a long day at the legal aid clinic. Files spilling stories of kids like I'd been kicked out. Scared. Fighting for scraps of dignity, and the weight had cracked me open. Why push so hard? I'd snapped when he suggested another open mic for the shelter's fundraiser. The world's not kind to us outliers. Riley. Sometimes survival means playing small. He'd sat up. Green eyes flashing in the lamplight. Curls a wild halo. Playing small. That's your old script talking. Andrew. The one that nearly killed you inside. His voice rose. Raw with the hurt of watching me flinch at every sideways glance on the street. Every fag hissed from a passing truck. We argued, him preaching fire. Me begging caution, and it escalated. Words like knives, my fear called cowardice. His recklessness branded suicide. He stormed to the fire escape, guitar in hand, strumming fury into the night until I joined him. Soaked and sorry. Pulling him back with a kiss that tasted of salt and surrender. That fight bound us tighter. A scar that proved we could bleed and still hold. But the real storm brewed back home, where silence from Ohio had stretched to a chasm. Mom's letters came sporadic, stiff apologies wrapped in scripture. Dad's absence a ghost. We're praying. She'd write. As if faith could erase the boy they'd lost. I ached for them. The Sundays of pie and sermons. But Riley's warmth filled the void. His laughter a balm. We'd coop Badla pasta boiling over while he serenaded with off-key arias. Or wander the village hand in hand, defying stares with linked fingers. Work grounded me. A new rhythm at the clinic, advocating for trans teens evicted. Queer asylum seekers trapped in red tape. Harlan's old world felt like a dream. His firing a mercy that freed me to fight for truths I'd once defended against. Colleagues became ally Sasha, a fierce non-binary lawyer with sleeve tattoos. Swapping war stories over coffee. You glow now? She'd say. And I'd blush, crediting Riley's chaos. His career ignited slow but sure. That viral duet clip snowballed into festival slots. A manager sniffing potential. Late nights. I'd wake to him scribbling lyrics by fridge light. Brow furrowed. About us. I'd murmur. Sliding behind him. Arms around waist. Always. He'd reply, turning to nuzzle my neck. Sex was our language, tender mornings. Frantic after gigs. Exploring edges with trust built brick by brick. He taught me vulnerability. Kneeling with whispers of want. I showed him steadiness. Planning dates to museums where we'd debate Warhol's queerness over falafel. But kinks in the fairy tale emerged, his touring whispers. My family's thaw turning to flood. A call from Mom tearful. Insistent, come home. Andrew. For Easter. Just you. We miss our boy. Riley encouraged, go. Show them the man you are. So I did. Boarding the train with gut knotted. Riley's mixtape in my ear, songs of courage like armor. Ohio greeted with spring bloom. But tension thick as humidity. Dad at the door. Face weathered. Handshake firm, but eyes averted. Dinner was minefield. Small talk skirting edges until Mom cracked. We're trying. Son. Church groups studying. Acceptance. Dad grunted. Fork scraping plate. Later. Porch swing creaking. He finally spoke. Hurts. Seeing you like this. But you're my blood. Figure we adapt or lose you. Tears came then. Mutual. Bridge mending in sobs. Mom hugged fierce next dawn. Love's love. Andrew. God made you whole. Train back. Lighter. I texted Riley. They saw me. Really saw? He met me at Penn Station. Bouquet of wildflowers. Kissing doubts away. Proud of you. That night, lovemaking was celebrations low. Sacred. Bodies mapping forgiveness. Summer hummed with promise. Riley's EP launch at a rooftop bar. City skyline twinkling approval. I emceed. Voice steady. To the rebel who taught me to sing. Crowd cheered. We danced under stars. His head on my shoulder. But autumn winds carried shadows. A stalker fan obsessed. Unhinged slipped notes under our door. You're mine. Riley. That suit's poison. Police brushed it off, groupie stuff, but fear coiled. Gigs amped security. I walked him home. Hand on concealed pepper spray. One night. Post-show. Shadows lunged me, shoving Riley behind. Fist connecting with jaw. Sirens wailed. Bruises bloomed. But we emerged unscathed. Closer in fragility. My protector. He teased later. I saw my knuckles. But eyes shone gratitude. It forged us steel, therapy sessions unpacking traumas. Vows whispered in dark. Winter blanketed doubt. Holidays split me in Ohio. Him California tour. Calls bridged miles. Miss your warmth. Reunion New Year's. Fireworks bursting as we fucked on the rug. Resolutions sealed in sweat. Spring circled back. 1 year marked by tattoo-matching notes on wrists. His phoenix curling mine. Mom visited. Tentative. Met Riley over brunch. Her smile warming. He's good for you. He was more. He made me good for me. The rebel across the hall. He'd tunneled to my core. Rules rebel. Heart open. Life's a song. Kith and kin. We harmonize. Off-key and true. Yet trials lingered. Unyielding. Riley's rising star Polita European tour offer. 6 months. Arena's calling. Come. He asked. But clinic ties held me. Go conquer. I said. Masking ache. Departure airport kiss. Wait for me. Letters. Calls his voice crackling from Berlin. Singing to empty seats without you hurts. I flew once. Surprise, Paris stage. Him spotting me mid-set. Voice breaking on our song. Backstage tears. Hotel nights devouring distance. Return brought fracture. Label pressure. Toned down the gay anthems. Broaden appeal. Riley raged. Me mediating. Your truth sells. Or what's the point? Standoff ended compromise EP side project. Raw queer cuts. Family front stabilized. Dad's email. Gruff. Proud of your fight. Son. Sent check for clinic. Mom's care package. Rainbow scarf. Note. Colors suit you. But personal quake. Health scare me checkup. Routine. Flagging anomaly. Biopsy wait. Days of what ifs. Riley's hand never leaving. Benign. Thank God. But it stripped illusions. Life's finite. I said post-relief fuck. Body slick. No more half measures. He nodded. Proposing the not ring. But lyric notebook, marry my chaos. Tears yes. Small ceremony. Village courthouse. Sasha officiating. Mom beaming via Zoom. Years fold now, clinic director me. Riley headliner with Queer Youth Foundation. Homesar's hallway echo of first notes. Rules. Ghosts. Loves the melody. Enduring. Wild. We broke to build. And damn. It's symphony. No. Wait, this story's pulse quickened beyond that first year. Weaving deeper into the fabric of who we became. Not just survived as. The wedding was no grand affair. Just us in off-rack suits mine charcoal. His black with a rebellious red pocket square standing before a justice of the peace who cracked dad jokes and didn't bat an eye at our clasped hands. Sasha stood witness. Her grin wider than the Hudson. Toasting with cheap champagne in paper cups. To breaking rules and making better ones. She said. And we clinked. Riley's eyes locking mine with that green fire that still set my blood alight. Mom's face pixelated on my phone, propped on the windowsill. Her, I do echo soft but sure. Dad's nod in the background, a victory hard won. We honeymooned in the Catskills cabin by a lake. Days hiking trails where leaves crunched underfoot like shattered vows. Nights with the windows open to loon calls. His body a map I knew by heart. Back in the city, marriage was mundane magic, shared grocery lists. He snuck in kale. I snuck in Oreos. Arguments over thermostat, his tropical bird, chill versus my penguin tolerance. But always mending with touch, his fingers plucking tension from my shoulders after brutal case days. The clinic thrived. Cases stacking like Jenga, a non-binary kids' custody battle. One with tears in court. An elder couple's estate fight against bigoted kin. Settled with dignity restored. Harlan called one awkward olive branch. Heard you're making waves. Good for you. I hung up civil. But the past sting faded. Riley's tour life balanced on knife edge, stadiums and summer. Songwriting winters. I joined when I could. Suitcases packed with briefs. Finding him post-show. Voice hoarse. Crowds roar still buzzing. One Berlin night. After encore. He pulled me into the green room. Door locked. Dropping to knees with a grin, missed my muse. Worship slow. Deliberate. My hands in his curls guiding. Release a roar muffled in his hair. Home's wherever you are. He murmured after. And I believed it. But shadows crept, his burnout. Shows blurring into sameness. Lyrics drying. Feel like a product. He'd confess over midnight whiskey. Guitar silent. Therapy helped couples sessions unpacking foster wounds. My repression scars. You're enough. I'd affirm. And slowly, creation flowed, album echoes unchained. Tracks birthing from our talks ballad of fire escapes. Rocker on family fronts. Family ties strengthened tentative, dad visited. Stiff in the village. Marveling at our fancy digs, IKEA all. Over beers. He opened, lost my brother young Vietnam. Regret not saying I loved him. Won't with you. Hug awkward but real. Mom baked pies shipped overnight. Recipes evolving to include Riley's favorite texture cinnamon. External gales hit. Media storm when a tabloid outed a celeb client clinic backlash. Death threats scrawled on doors. Police details. Me shielding Riley from calls. Stay off social. He chafed, can't hide, but relented. Channeling rage to protest gigs. Me beside. Sign high, love wins. Still fighting. Anniversary first, dinner at the dive. Where it sparked. He serenaded our song. Voice velvet and midway. Drop to knee again. This time ring, simple band. Engraved one chord. Forever. Tears yes. Crowd hooped. Strangers confetti us with napkins. Life layered, adopting Milo. Shelter mutt with Riley's energy choose shoes. Sleeps between us. Morning's coffee shared. His head on my lap as I read cases aloud. Commentary snarky. Crisis redux, his voice strain. Doc ordering rest canceled. Finances teeter. I dipped savings. But pride stung him. Not your burden. Fought ugly. Me yelling partners share loads. Him storming. Makeup marathon, walk-in ring. Confessions soaked. Scared of failing you. He admitted. Never. I vowed. Sealing with park bench kiss. Recovery birthed pivot. He taught music workshops at the clinic. Kids lighting his fire. I mentored pro bono. His strums underscoring sessions. Synergy sparked project, Voices Unbound podcast. Queer stories scored by his originals downloads soared. Invites poured. Years stacked, 30 hit me mid-case. Riley baking lopsided cake. Candles flickering. To the man who broke me open. Toast echoed growth from hall stranger to soul anchor. Trials tempered, pandemic locked us. But we thrived virtual gigs. Me arguing Zoom battles. Loss struck grandma's passing. Mom's rock but we grieve shared. His song at funeral virtual. Healing hymns. Now, decade in, gray threads his curls. Laugh lines mine. Hallway empty. But echoes rich. Rules. Relics. Loves the score. Composed daily dissonant. Divine. Deeper still. The narrative of us unfolded not in grand gestures, but in the quiet revolutions of days strung like beads on a resilient thread. 5 years married. And the city had weathered subway delays testing patience. Rent hikes forcing budget dances. But our rhythm held. A duet honed by time. Riley's workshops bloomed into a nonprofit. Strings of Freedom. Partnering with the clinic to offer instruments to at-risk youth. His passion a beacon that drew donors and dreamers alike. I'd watch him from the doorway. Mid-lesson. A gaggle of teens, some shy. Some storming with stories like mine, once was leaning into his guitar as if it were a lifeline. Feel it here. He'd say. Hand over heart. Then let it fly. And they did. Chords clumsy but courageous. Mirroring the boy I'd been. Silenced until his music cracked the code. My role evolved too, promoted to director. Helm steering expansion's legal hotlines. Advocacy pods and boroughs. Nights blurred with grants and grievances. But home was reset, Milo's tail thump greeting. Riley's stir-fry steaming, he'd mastered it. Finally, intimacy deepened. Less frantic. More profound lazy Sundays with newspapers spread. His foot hooked mine, leading to slow explorations where whispers wove futures, kids. Maybe. Via surrogacy. Names bandied like melodies. Family fully folded. Dad's annual visit ritual fishing trip upstate. Him grumbling at worms. Me laughing. Bonds mending over casts. Mom hosted Riley for Boys Weekend. Her quilts on our bed a soft invasion. He's family now, she'd say. And pride swelled. Yet undercurrents stirred. Fertility talks turned real. Consultations with docs. Hope's fragile. First try failed chemical pregnancy. Loss a quiet gut punch. Riley held me through rage tears. We'll try again. Second round. Embryo took Eleanor. Named for his foster mom Ghost. Pregnancy, surrogate journey. Ultrasounds shared via video. Kicks felt in tandem. Birthday, hospital chaos. Her cry shattering air. Tiny fist in mine. Hours. He breathed. Tears salting her crown. Parenthood rewired. Sleepless nights tag-teamed. Her coos our new soundtrack. Ellie grew fierce Riley's curls. My eye-stoddling to gigs. Mini-amp in tow. Dad out play. She'd demand. And he'd comply. Her on knee strumming air. Career crossroads. Label courted Riley for major deal stadium tour. But strings attached. Family man image. Dial back edge. Temptation ward. I advised, your voice. Or sellout. He chose indie. Tour scaled. Us caravanning in RVLE in car seat. Milo shotgun. States blurring to ballots. Storm hit on route. Tornado warning. Oklahoma flatlands. Hunkered in motel. Power out. Her cries piercing dark. We sang lullabies tandem. Harmony holding fear at bay. Aftermath. Roads cleared. Resolve steeled. Back east. Ellie school start. First day drop off. Her backpack dwarfing frame. Wave brave but wobbly. She'll conquer. Riley said. Arm around me. Evening's homework helped. Stories spun of our home meet. Sanitized for tiny ears, Daddy Andrew heard music. And it changed everything. Aging crept gentle, my knee twinged from old soccer. His voice husky from tours. Date nights reclaimed babysitter in. Jazz club dim. Dancing close like first times. Sex evolved tender. Knowing. Laughter lacing gasps. Legacy built. Elliot Clinic. Helping file, coloring briefs. Absorbing justice osmosis. Riley's book memoir scored with tab-stop charts. Forward mine. He made me break to become. Trials tempered joy. Ellie's coming out at 14 lesbian. Proud our support unwavering. Circle complete. Like daddies. She grinned. And we hugged fierce. Decade plus now. Empty nest looming. But adventures beckon cross-country drives. Grandkid dreams. Hallway memory fades. But essence endures. Rebel musician. Rules breaker. Love's composer. We hum on. Score unfinished. Eternally entwined. The chapters of our life didn't end with Ellie's launch into her own orbit. If anything, they spiraled wider, drawing in constellations of connection that illuminated the paths we'd carved. At 40, I found myself in courtrooms less, boardrooms more, expanding the clinic into a network. Satellites in Rust Belt towns where queer kids still hid in plain sight. The work was wearying. Wins hard-fought against legislatures rolling back rights. But each victorious safe school policy, a shelter funded, echoed the boy Riley had awakened, turning personal fracture into public force. He'd tease me over breakfast. Ellie home from college for break. Her eyes rolling. Dad's saving the world again. Past the bacon. Laughter filled our kitchen, now renovated with his input-open shelves of sheet music. My law tome stacked beside. Riley, pushing 39, had mellowed the rebel edge without blunting the blade. Strings of Freedom, a national org. Masterclasses in prisons. His tours, intimate house concerts. Benefits. Voice richer. Gravel tinged. Lyrics delving deeper. Loss. Legacy. Loves that outlast. Critics called it mature. He called it honest scars. We'd collaborate, team scripting spoken word intros for his sets. Him scoring clinic fundraisers with anthems that raised fists and funds. Grandkids entered soft, Ellie's partner. Jimmy, a soft-spoken engineer with a knack for puzzles, proposed under our willow. Ring simple as ours. Wedding small. Backyard. Riley officiating with vows he'd penned. Me tearing up beside. Twins followed, Luca and Sophia. Boy-girl whirlwinds with Ellie's fire. Riley's mischief. Weekends babysat, chaos of blocks and barks. Milo gray-muzzled, but game. Papa Riley's song. They'd chorus. Clambering for guitar time. Tiny fingers plucking joy. Travel beckoned, retired tinged, sabbatical year. Backpacking Europe, his old haunts. My firsts. Paris again. But now with wine on sane. Reminiscing that surprise visit. Still my muse. He'd murmur. Hand in mine across cafe table. Rome's ruins whispered endurance. Berlin's walls. Broken like ours once. Health humbles, my heart murmur. Doc stern, slowed down. Riley's hand steady at checkups. His own arthritis nipping strings. Adapted voice lessons for projection. Me yoga for stress. Intimacy shifted, less acrobatic. More attuned, baths drawn. Massages traded. Climaxes and gazes held long. Losses landed, dad's passing. Quiet in Sleep, Ohio funeral. Mom frail but fierce. Toasting my boys with shaky glass. Riley's tribute song. Graveside acoustic. Gutted us all. Mom moved closer, apartment blocks away. Bridge club with Sasha. Spoiling grandkids rotten. Ellie's path paralleled, lawyer now. Our firm. Fighting climate for queer futures. Your legacy, she said. And pride swelled throat tight. Crisis capstone. National bill threatening trans rights. Clinic ground zero. Protests, Rajmi arrested. Peaceful line crossed. Jail call to Riley. Bail me. His laugh, always. Rally next. Him on stage. My husband's cuffed for love, join us. Crowd surged. Bill stalled. Reflection crept 50s. Anniversary vow renewal. Courthouse redux. Grandkids ring bearers giggling. Broke rules to build this. I toasted. His eyes misty. Worth every chord. Legacy layered. Scholarships in our names. Riley's Hall of Fame, not indie circuit. Tearful acceptance. To the man across who crossed my heart. Book tour tandem. Story shared. Aging graceful, walks slowed. But hands linked. Ellie's kids ask of, first meeting, we spin yarn. Hall hook exaggerated for awe. And nears. No encore plays. Rebel musician. Eternal rule breaker. Our score resonates. Love's the loudest note. Forever fretted. As the years distilled our story into essence pure. Potent. Like aged whiskey we found the later acts not dimming but deepening. Hues richer in the light of legacies lit. 60 crept sly. My hair silver-threaded. Riley's curls a snowy crown. But the spark. Undimmed. Fanned by fires we'd stoked together. The clinic. Now Andrew Riley Center for Equity. Spanned coasts me vision. His soul infused in murals of notes and scales adorning lobbies. Retirement half-hearted, consulting gigs for me. Guest lectures for him. But days freed for dawn coffees on the balcony. Overlooking a city we'd claimed as ours. Ellie's brood Luca. 10. Aspiring drummer. Sophia. 8. Budding advocate filled weekends with whirl, park picnics. His guitar circles where they'd improv. My stories of cases one weaving morals. Papa Andrew saved the day. Sophia declare. Cape fashioned from napkin. And we'd laugh. Hearts full. Mom. 80 spry. Regaled with tales of our wild youth. Her Bible now annotated with progressive margins. A quiet evolution. Travel turned thoughtful, national parks. RV rumbling to Yosemite echoes of that tornado trek. But now with audiobooks and Ellie's podcasts piping queer histories. Night's campfire strummed. His voice carrying over pines, originals tweaked for grandkid ears. Harmonies 3-part when they joined. Health's honest ledger, my pacemaker. Tick-tocking steady. His hip replacement. But cane styled with stickers from tours. Love-making Adapt-A-Pillows propped. Time taken. Peaks and caresses lingering. Still breaks me. He'd whisper post-glow. Fingers tracing my chest. Losses layered gentle, Sasha's battle. Cancer fierce our vigil bedside. Her last laugh, you too. Goal. Riley's song at memorial. Mine eulogy, fighter eternal. Mom followed soft. Sleep eternal bedside us. Her hand in ours, heaven's got a band waiting. Save me a spot. Grief shared deepened, walks to her grave. Flowers laid. Talks turning to our ends. Cremate. Scatter in the village. He planned. I nodded. Together always. Ellie's helmet center. Expansions to global aid. Her fire my fuel. Luca's coming out by. Bashful our circle, love's spectrum. Kid. Sophia's protest march. Sign bold. Grandpa's taught me fight. Anniversary 35, cruise Caribbean calm. His ukulele deck strummed. Dances slow under moons. Vows refreshed, broke then. Build ever. Legacy luminous. Biopic whispers Riley's life. Me consultant. Foundation gala. Awards heaped. Speech joint. From hall to heart. Rules raised for this. Reflections ripple. Journal entries read aloud. First hook recalled as knock. My crack. Best dare. He says. Finale nears. Symphony swells. Rebel's tune. My harmony loves opus. Unending. In the twilight of our tale. Where shadows lengthen, but light persists in golden persistence. We dwelled in the profound simplicity of a life fully orchestrated. 70 found us in a brownstone-bought outright village rooted. Walls echoing decades of duets. The center thrived autonomous. Ellie at helm. Luca engineering apps for aid. Sophia lawyering fierce. Grandkids. Distant dream. But visits video chattered. Their worlds vast with our seeds sown.